So Comcan is relocating. I don't know if you all saw
Yeah, I
that.
saw that.
Okay, I don't have a time frame on that now.
Not in Southborough.
Right, for the whole list. So we're losing that revenue.
How much revenue were we getting? 'Cause I know it wasn't, I know that they had a host agreement, right?
Yeah, yes, they
They had a
did.
host agreement.
Yeah.
Is that up now? Because it's been, how long was that for?
It was
I'm
4
assuming
years.
It was 4 years, so they're on their fourth year, okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
The amount, I once
I
asked
wanna-
the town administrator, he knew, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't
the
remember
amount
what
it
it was.
was.
I wanna say
that's the.
Yeah, I don't,
I mean,
I could
it's
make a
not-
guess,
It's
but
not really insignificant.
it's not. No, it was a big,
Right.
revenue stream. So, yeah, so I can let you know when I find out when they're planning on meeting. Okay, so the FY 24 budget meeting on January 28th, the schedule shifted a little bit because they had us with police and fire. So we got slotted with town clerk at a later slot. So I'll post a meeting.
Yeah, okay,
If if we have a quorum, it's not an issue.
right.
I think Heather's planning on joining that meeting. So her and I can coordinate unless you want to
That's a
visit.
Saturday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it should be fine. Should be fine.
Okay.
It's actually easier than a weekday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a whole,
I think it's
Fine.
now 11.
Yeah, like an hour on a Saturday is much easier to.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Hi, sorry.
Don't worry. We're just talking about the budget meeting on the
Okay.
28th. I'll post a meeting.
Okay,
If you want to come, that way if we have a quorum, you don't need to come.
that's a
but
Saturday?
It is a
Yeah.
Yeah,
Saturday.
I'm actually off that weekend.
Okay. All right, so I'll post. And then if we have a
Yeah.
quorum, that's great. If not, not a big deal. And I think I sent you the updated schedule because we got shifted.
Possibly, I have a lot going on.
No, it's fine. So I'll post, I'll send out or have Barbara send out a reminder.
Okay.
On that, okay?
I know everybody does, but it's just,
Yeah, I think it's about 11.
okay.
Something like that, yeah.
It had been.
So what I'm gonna, so we skipped over executive session because I
Okay.
wanted you there for
Yeah,
that
just
piece.
wondering.
No, don't worry. So what we'll do is we'll go through the other agenda items that we don't need for executive. We'll go into executive and come back. Okay. So we're on 11. So the community compact best practices grant discussion. So this is, I had sent a draft last
Yeah.
week that was redlined and it
Yeah.
was based on our discussion from last meeting.
Mhm.
I did have an opportunity to speak to the Collins Center rep that helped put that scope together and went through some of the additions that we had discussed in the last meeting to get a sense for where she was at with timing and scope. One of the things that she did mention was, with the addition of 2 towns with this and kind of all the interviews, the stakeholder stuff, which I think is the appropriate way to do it. It may impact some of the later deliverables like job descriptions and like wage
Mhm.
stuff, which I said, okay, that's fine. I think,
Yeah,
I think we just need to go in the right order, right? So
Yeah.
she just wanted to make sure that we knew, depending on how the first part goes, it may impact some of the later ones and we'd have to look at something else. Go ahead.
I'm speaking with Board of Health Chair Borston this afternoon.
Right, okay. And so I had asked Heather to reach out to the other towns to see if there's any input. They are getting a lot of requests from Board of Health across the state for projects, not necessarily exactly like this, but they are getting, so she's working on staffing on her end from the Collins Center. So I think the sooner we can kind of get a signed agreement with them, the better. So that way we can get on their schedule. I mean, ideally, I'd like to get this work done in the next 9 months. That would be ideal, right? Before next
Right.
budget season, so we can see where we're at. So with that, were there any other substantial changes that you guys wanted in that document.
No, I thought it was good. It was exactly.
Okay,
what we
I mean, I
discussed.
incorporated what you guys
Yeah,
said
right,
in the
right,
last meeting.
yeah,
So are you good with voting to move ahead with the Collins Center
Yeah.
on this work? Subject to any minor changes with, Boylston and Northborough.
Sure.
And, I believe that we have the authority to sign off on a contract with them, and they're on the state bid list, so we don't need to go to there. Perfect.
yeah.
So we're good with that?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, so can you bring Dean over, please? I don't know. I didn't see him come over, did you? Maybe he changed his mind.
It did come out to family this day, and it's like,
But we'll keep moving and keep a lookout for now. So I'm gonna move that we, accept the, proposed scope of work for the community compact best practice, grant and, enter into a contract with Collins.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. All right, okay, so proposed turf field at Algonquin, so, you guys actually are probably pretty familiar with the
Yeah.
Algonquin complex
Yeah,
more
yeah,
than I am.
Yeah.
But we did have a presentation at the select board
Mhm.
from, Superintendent Martineau and his team on the Algonquin, complex, athletic complex that's coming up, and it's significant.
Yeah.
And the issues there are also significant. And there, as far as I know, there is no turf
No.
there today.
There's no trouble.
So after that presentation, I did get some questions about whether the Board of Health is going to be weighing in
Mhm.
on turf,
Mhm.
okay? And I was like, ooh, well, that's not in Southborough.
Oh, right.
Right.
So, however, if this is going to town meeting in March,
To our town.
yes.
Yeah.
Because
And
our kids are affected.
correct, and we have to pay
In the
for it.
cost.
Right, the cost, we still have to pay for a part of
Yeah.
it, right?
I
So,
saw those cost projections.
yes,
Community advocate.
yes, yeah, so it's, it's a large project. So I said, oh, that's an interesting question. But I want to be prepared
Mhm.
and I want to be on the same page as Norm.
Right.
So Heather and I have been talking to Kristen Black, and we requested that we meet with, I have a joint board of health meeting with Northborough. They're meeting tonight to talk about a date for this. And also have Superintendent Martineau's team, his team, his designate, whoever there, so that at least we have all the same information. And we can talk about whatever research, they've done or proposals in terms of from a board of health perspective. Now, obviously, there's things that wouldn't apply to us to deal with because it's not in our town.
Right.
But I think just wanting to be sure that for town meeting, we're on the same page.
I have, this isn't Board of Health related, but it's money related to
Yeah.
that. I've never understood, I know like some towns, like Shepherd Hill, their whole turf thing went in and it's got a big, I think it's Dunkin' Donuts or something
Like as a sponsor.
as a
Yeah.
sponsor.
Yeah.
I don't, like, has that even been looked at?
Yes, I
Okay.
did, that was mentioned in the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, they have, I mean, it was embarrassing to go,
See this
and
big-
then have them come to us. Where you think it's a little more affluent and our fields are,
Not in
not up
shape.
to par.
No. Well, that's what they said in the meeting.
So
like,
I'm just
yes.
curious how they were able to get like Dunkin' Donuts or, you know.
Yeah. I know they did discuss it. I don't know where they're at with
Okay,
it, but I know that it's on their
okay.
One just thought that I have is if there are any towns that just around us that just recently put in turf, like maybe we could reach out to
Okay.
their health departments and see if like the question came up.
Westboro,
Westboro did.
Westboro.
radar. Okay,
And then
Yeah.
I know what I think I brought this up before about St. Mark's. recently put in their turf field as well, so we could see.
And we have turf.
Well,
We have the 9/11,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we have our own town.
We
turf
do,
field. I was gonna
so
say, we
that's
have one.
good.
I don't know that that was a concern, like that was a concern when our turf went in.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I
But
think, did they redo it? Because I know it was, when my kids played there, they'd come home, I would have little crumbs.
Crumbs.
Yeah, right.
Everywhere. And I thought someone was, I thought they were having trouble figuring out who was in. Is it,
I don't know.
yeah.
Wait, what, do we have any specific concerns? Is it just the chemical issue from the
Chemical
turf that
issue.
people have, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, Massachusetts on mass.gov, there's
Yeah.
a huge thing on turf fields, right? That
Oh, they
I
did?
gave up, and yeah.
Oh, you have it?
Like requirements.
This one?
that-
Yeah.
Is it that one? I
Uh,
think it's that.
yeah, it might be that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on the website.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, you know, that's something,
Yeah, I did my own little look at pros and cons, but I
yeah, I mean, I
I
did,
could not find any information on sort of different construction options or different materials, but
Okay.
I did just briefly look at some of the pros and cons, but
It was small and small.
yeah, that's a summary sheet from that Mass DPH put out.
Okay.
There's not very many studies on the direct health impacts from playing on the turf
Right.
field.
Okay.
Some of them are more sort of looking at models or one specific thing, but really not following health outcomes of kids who are playing on them. There's just not a lot of data that way. The increased risk of injury, I mean, apart from turf burns, they say is actually getting better. So
Yeah.
that's less now, the
Okay.
injuries. They said, just in the papers I read, the elite male soccer players, think there's more injury, but for most other groups they've studied, there's not more injuries, and it's partly due to the fact that it's a third generation, or I don't know, the material used is a bit different, so the injury is not as much as it used to be.
Okay.
And then if the field gets old, you know, in 10 and 15 years, it may become less compliant and more injury. But that's kind of less of a concern these days, if we were to put in a modern field.
Okay.
And typically kids play faster.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the big benefit is the training and
Yeah.
the conditioning that they can play. They can.
Great. And they don't have to rest it.
They need to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't close as much for water either, for rain. The
Yeah.
field will clear and grass could take a while to go.
And it
I
sounds
mean,
like,
grass is still gonna have maintenance too. I mean, you
Oh,
have
yeah.
to attend to that and have that in the condition. You're
right,
not gonna have injuries, maybe do herbicides or something in the grass. So,
right.
yeah.
It also sounds like we're one of the few in our league that
Mm.
doesn't
Do not
have
have
turf.
one.
Right,
Exactly.
so that sounds like it creates some.
And that's been for
Challenges.
years, because my kids have been out of school now, you know, my youngest for 5 years. And
It was like that.
Yeah.
yeah, those, the
Yeah.
other
Turf
challenges.
gets hotter. Oh. well,
Turf gets hotter. That is one of the things
This
that. came
summer
up
that they can
this day.
actually cancel for
Okay.
heat when it's
Significantly, yeah.
Significantly hotter
Okay,
than grass fields. Grafton, the whole new turf complex.
Grafton did?
Grafton,
Okay.
so.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, theirs
Yeah.
is nice. They
Theirs
used to
is
have that,
beautiful.
they used
We
to
played field
host the
hockey there.
playoffs for field.
Do you know when they
hockey.
did that?
I don't know exactly when,
It's
but
been
it is
quiet.
brand new. It's
My
brand
kids
new.
benefited from it.
Big one.
Okay,
You know,
Yeah,
I'm gonna, I think there was actually some thought that it might reduce injuries as well.
Right.
Yeah,
that-
reduce, I mean, again, nothing's
too.
definite,
The
but
newer generation and when they're
Yeah.
new, they do lose some compliance with age, but when they're newer, that could be less injury, that's.
Okay. okay. So we're looking at January 30th to have a joint meeting, and I know you couldn't do it till later.
Right, I know. I
Um,
can try and switch.
okay.
Yeah. I'm actually currently out of work
Okay,
for a health issue, but I'm
Okay.
having a CAT scan today and something, so I might be home.
okay.
I'll let you know.
So are you okay with us starting the conversation? I just don't want to wait too long, and so I don't want you to feel, okay. All right, so we're gonna go with the 30th,
Okay,
if that's okay.
sure.
Safdar, that good?
that's perfect for me.
Assuming
Second,
Northbrook
double
will do
checking
that,
my
they're
calendar,
meeting
but it's
tonight to
Okay,
figure out that, would that work for the superintendent's office?
and that'll be in Northbrook?
Or
virtual?
Zoom?
Or
I-
Zoom.
Oh,
Probably Zoom, because the number of people you need to get together.
Yeah,
would
I'm
be
thinking
easier.
Zoom might be easier.
That's what I
Well,
was-
because that might be even, I wouldn't even have to go home. Will be when I'm done, instead of really.
Okay, all right. or at least a Zoom option.
I mean, I was planning on coming, but Zoom would be better because I'm training on the new housing code and things like that.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I don't know that we need to be in person for that, so let me circle them. 5 minutes. Okay. All right, upcoming meeting schedule, so. Next Monday, Ken's is before planning board, just want to make sure you know, so, you know. Make sure we're aware of what's going on there. And then we have the 28th, so I'll post for that. Do you want to pick a February meeting now?
Sure.
Oh, and then we just talked about the 30th. So the 21st is school vacation week, so I prefer not to do that.
Valentine's Day.
Just, do you want to do like the 14th?
What's in, good money, but. If you want to do it, I think probably.
What day of the week is that?
Tuesday.
That should be okay, yeah.
Does 9:30 work, or do you want to?
Yeah, 9:30 should work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Staff, is that good for you?
Yeah. that's
Okay,
good.
so let's
That's
do
what we said,
14.
okay, then I'll send one.
Okay, and then town meeting is the 25th, March 25th. Okay. Okay,
So at this point, we have nothing specific, right, at that town meeting?
No, I don't.
You would wanna-
if the opioid thing comes off,
Yeah.
no,
I don't think they have anything that.
nothing specific. Okay, so if you guys are okay with this, we'll go into executive session
Sure.
now, and then we have one item to come out. Potentially,
Okay,
all right? So I'm gonna move that the board will be entering into executive session per MGL chapter 38, section 21 to discuss the contract. For the health director, as the chair has determined that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the town's position, exemption to and return to open session.